Good question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me your perspective on when they say about creating your own reality.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, what does that mean to you? What does that mean to Soraya?
Oh man, creating my own reality means that I have to, I'm in one has to be, well, me having to be in the right mental state to really manifest and really believe in my heart to set the tone of what I want. And I think writing things down is very prevalent, that
Okay.
everybody should be journaling, because I think that's a big part of manifestation. If you're able to meditate instead, at least that's something. But I think it's you being in the right mental state, and you have to match your logic with your heart in unison for it to come to fruition. You can't just say something and then every day and then you don't believe it. But at the same time, if you say it every day enough, you're going to trick your body into believing it.
So I think it goes both ways. So you can do it deliberately or default, or by not default, if that makes sense. That you can go either way.
Mm-hmm. If you do it long enough, your body will believe
So it's just a programming thing.
it. Mm-hmm.
And you have to be, once again, we talk about the realization, so you really want to be aware of what you're creating.
Yes.
Because some people are creating by default, so you don't want to create by default. You want to do it deliberately. You want to be a deliberate creator when it comes down to that. But I think it can go either way. But the way that you think and the way that you feel creates your state of being.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion on it. And I think people are, I don't know if people maybe have the wrong perception of it, but that's just the way that I see it. And that you are constantly creating no matter what, because the signal is always out. The Batman light is always on, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So you always constantly creating that, regardless if you doing it deliberately or
not
deliberately,
subconsciously
right?
or not,
So
yeah.
you're always constantly on. So no matter what, the film is always filming. You can't pause it. You know what I mean? So you always have to be alert, and that's where awareness comes from, because you want to be aware of what you're creating. You don't want to be creating by default.
Yes.
So that would be my take on it.
I like
I also had a nephew mention to me, how do you feel about when people are actually, this is a little crazy, but it was a valid point, about how do people talk to themselves all the time. Because he told me when he went to school, it was one guy that was by the school, and he's sitting there talking to himself. It's like, what is he going through? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because in our society, they would give that a name, and they would call that maybe you going through some kind of schizophrenia or what have it. But it gets deeper than that. So if you can relate to, if he's watching,
Well,
how do you
this
feel
is
about
deep,
that?
so I'm going to keep that a little light. But I think just like how you were saying, that there's different levels to it.
Yes,
So,
yes.
Yeah, so someone that's, anything like there really is someone there, that's kind of a little level of insanity. We won't go there. But if it's speaking to yourself, which I find very healthy, and you're very smart if you do so,
Yeah.
You're basically speaking words into being physically, which is like one of the most powerful things to do for things to come to fruition. It's a very intelligent thing to do.
In my opinion, is you are not aware of your own intelligence, so to speak. It's like, I've been given the magic wand, but you don't know how to use it. So you kind of disengage from maybe your higher self, so to speak.
Oh, when you talk to yourself?
When you get into that point where you don't know how to control the mental aspect of it.
Okay. Yes, that. Yeah.
So if you are constantly talking to yourself, there are diarrhea of the mind. Like you got too much going on.
Oh, you mean like when you're thinking like
when
negative thoughts?
It's like he was saying, the guy just sitting there, he's just talking to himself. Like you're like, who is he talking to? Like he's just talking to himself, because it's like we're saying, there's different levels to it, because you don't know how to control that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know how to control that. It's gotten to a point where it's just overbearing. Like the momentum has got too far down the hill for you to kind of just pick up and take control of that, because it's a practice. It's something that you have to be control over, and if you don't, then it can control you. So you want to be control of the mind and the body. You don't want it to control you, if that makes sense.
Right.
So yeah. So of course, if my nephew's watching, I hope this answers his question.
Yeah.